Hey guys, this is the Wounded Womb, Mind of Lilith, and thank you for joining me today. I'm going to be discussing a graphic that I shared with you guys called the Re-crucifixion of the Body of Christ in the Age of Aquarius, and I shared this 2 days ago. I couldn't share this on Instagram, so I figured, what I was saying was very controversial, but it is what it is. I'm not going to be doing a deep dive today, but in the coming weeks, I'm going to take the time to analyze each element of this graphic piece by piece. So the graphic that I share with you guys, and you can see it on your screen, it is basically a heads up or a warning about the tactics that will be used to re-crucify or to continue the oppression, enslavement, and subjugation of humanity by the principalities who have done so for thousands of years now. There are entities on this planet who believe that we are here to serve them, we are their food, we are the energy source, and we have to live our lives in accordance to whatever mechanisms of control they designed for us, whether it's education or politics or entertainment or business or religion. Okay? So, over the past few weeks, a few seeds have been planted in my head about what's going on now in society, connected to what's happened in history and the coming ages. And I've been listening to a few people who have been talking about history and, this politics and everything else. And they've planted some seeds in my head. Now, as an astrologer, I always connect the dots to astrology because it's always a connection, in my opinion, with massive global events in astrology. So, if you look at the graphic, you'll see a cross, right? And on the cross, you'll see Aquarius, Scorpio, Leo, and Taurus. That is a symbol of the crucifixion of humanity. In the last age, we had a cross of Pisces, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Gemini. In astrology, a cross usually consists of all of the signs of a particular modality. So the modality of the last era or the last age was mutable. So all mutable energies or expressions for humanity were locked down. For example, Pisces represents spirituality, genocide, suicide, illusion, deception, fantasy, etc. This was the lock that was used to facilitate the crucifixion, right? The sign of the era, in my opinion, the sign of the age is the vehicle that is used to perform the crucifixion. So in the last age, religion was used as this way. Spirituality was used this way. Deception was used. Suicide, genocide, etc. How do I know this? Well, if you read your history books, every single time there's been a conquest of some sort over the past several hundred years. Even prior to that, religion was used as a tool. So the colonizers would come with their Bible and their bayonet, right? So they would come to brainwash you and say, you are not God. This is your God. This is who you're supposed to serve. And then they would commit mass genocide and rape. This is the Pisces age, okay? So when you're dealing with the mutable cross, you're dealing with Pisces, Gemini, Sagittarius, and Virgo. Pisces dealing with the hidden realm, subconscious, spirituality, self-sabotage, suicide, delusion, deception, etc. The opposite of Pisces is Virgo. Virgo deals with debts, it deals with labor, work, it deals with the physical body itself, and Taurus, and it deals with your health. So, if you are trying to suppress this aspect of humanity, what are you going to do? You're going to create a debt system, central banking system, that forces people into a system where their money will be worth less over time, so they have to work more, right? They're constantly in debt. You're going to be in a system where you have to pay 30% of your wages and taxes to the government. You are indebted to them. You will never have enough money to stop working. That's the goal, okay? Then we have massive industrialized slavery because Virgo deals with efficiency of systems too. So we have made, enslavement a system, a business. It is no longer about family ties. It's no longer about, local community. It was an actual business. It was a corporation, slavery itself. people were turned into property under law, which is represented by Sagittarius, which is another mutable sign. So we've covered Pisces and Virgo, and now we're going to go to Sag, which is a square to Virgo and Pisces. Sag deals with higher education, long distance travel, law, politics, spirituality too, but the study of spirituality, philosophy, etc. So the law was used to enslave humanity, basically. Okay. We had the chattel slave system. We had the central banking system. We've had the Federal Reserve government. We have lots of laws that were put in place over the past 2,000 years to facilitate this slavery of humanity, in order to ensure that all of our resources are sent to a specific group of people who are at the very top of the food chain. Now, the opposite sign of Sagittarius is Gemini. Gemini deals with the media, okay, the news. It deals with merchandising, business, marketing, the exchange of money, is money itself, okay? What happened over the past 2,000 years? We have new money systems. We have fiat currency, fake money, paper money that is not really backed by anything but your physical labor and your slavery. So now the national debt is backed by your enslaved labor, not by gold, not by oil. Okay. The value of the American dollar is based on how much tax revenue that we can generate for the system, how much money we have to spend on goods and services that are sold within the U.S. economy. Okay. So now we have Gemini here. The media is being used to sell propaganda to, encourage people to be a part of the system, right? Buy a home, get a mortgage for 30 years, enslave yourself to a mortgage for 30 years, enslave yourself to a job, leave your home, right? Leave your land, go work in a factory in a dirty big city where you don't own anything. You're just in a tenement with people, renting a small apartment with several other families and paying your bills that way, but you don't own anything, right? They use the media, Hollywood, to sell the propaganda of the system that they've used to enslave us. That's Gemini also. There are many other aspects of this. I'm just doing an overview in this particular presentation, but you guys get the gist of it. Now, we have successfully left the age of Pisces, okay? The wheel has turned 30 degrees. But if the wheel is turning 30 degrees, we're still in the cross. Okay, so we go from a mutable cross, which is headed by Pisces, to now a fixed cross, which is headed by Aquarius. So Aquarius energy will be used to facilitate or to start the suppression and subjugation and re-crucifixion of humanity by way of technology, mass communication, biological warfare, communicable diseases, etc. So Aquarius deals with the collective, the body of society, friendships, organizations, mass social media, hopes and dreams, technology, communication, biological warfare, etc. So as we enter the age of Aquarius, we can see like a boom in technology, right? And because there's a boom in technology, this has given us access to information and resources that have enlightened us to the point where we're no longer going to be tethered or locked into the Piscean system of oppression. We have access to millions of books that they burned throughout history, right? We have access to ways of making money without government intervention, okay? We have access to higher levels of education and knowledge and spirituality than we ever had before because of our access to information and knowledge. We are being awakened, and we are leaving this Neptunian fog of deception and delusion and fantasy. We are waking up to the reality of what religion has done to society. And that's, giving us the awareness to move forward into this new age. So what has to happen? In order for these entities to maintain control of us, they now have to weaponize the energy of the age against us. So there's a shadow side and a light side to every sign, right? The shadow side of Aquarius, again, would be, biological weapons. What else? Identity politics, the metaverse, mass deaths, transhumanism, communicable diseases, etc. That's the dark side of it. But the light side of Aquarius deals with us, using technology to foster relationships, to build community via technology, to help solve some of the long-term issues that we've had basically since the beginning of time when it comes to diseases and food shortages and recycling and everything else. So we can use Aquarius in a positive way too. The opposite of Aquarius is Leo. And this is extremely important, but I'm going to cover that in another presentation. So Leo is the opposite of Aquarius. And Leo is in the 5th house and is ruled by the sun. And it represents children, romance, love, creative expression, identity, and courage. If you haven't noticed, over the past 30 to 40 years, and it's even worse now, the culture of music has deteriorated, especially in the Black community. We are no longer allowed to be creative. We have to be slaves to the industries that we're working in. Music industry, education, movie industry, whatever. So we are being subjugated, again, through our creativity. Our creativity is used to weaponize. Our creativity is being weaponized against us. So the music is talking about fuck love, get money, get high, go on a plane, like what Cardi B was saying. It's telling you to close down your heart chakra, because the heart chakra is going to be the only way you can get out of this crucifixion, period. I'm going to go to Taurus. Taurus is a square to Leo and is still a part of this fixed cross. Taurus, the energy deals with, in my opinion, the physical body, the earth itself, land, the material goods, ownership of things, money, wealth, resources. That's Taurus. What do we see happening with Taurus as far as how we're losing control of Taurian energy, right? We have large corporations buying up land, forcing people to rent, permanent tenancy, feudalism. If you cannot own land, you can't pass anything down to your children, which is the opposite, is Scorpio, which deals with inheritances, taxes, divorce settlements, reproduction, blood, etc. So with Taurus, the physical body, they're saying to you, if you don't put this in your body, I'm going to lock your body down. So now, last year, or in 2020, they planted the seeds for what they were going to do in the coming years. They always plant the seeds during the transit of the previous sign. So while Pluto is in Capricorn, they planted the seeds of oppression that they wanted to bloom in Aquarius. Because when you plant seeds, you don't plant the seeds the day of harvest. You plant them months or weeks ahead, or even years ahead in some cases, right? So they had to plant the seeds of this oppression in 2020. But they've been doing it for a long time, actually. But we saw a huge thing happen in 2020, okay? So they're telling you, if you don't put this in your body, Taurus, we're going to forbid you from accessing the earth itself. You're going to be locked into your house. So you can sit in front of a computer, right? Metaverse, okay? Into the World Wide Web. And we can bombard your brain with bullshit and nonsense to keep you atomized and disconnected from humanity. Because if you come together as a collective, you have the courage, Leo, to overthrow our oppression, okay? So now let's go into Scorpio. The opposite of Taurus is Scorpio. Scorpio deals with what? Genetic material, reproduction, reproductive organs, blood, sex itself, disease, inheritance, taxes, life, and death. So if you're locked into your house all day, you can't have sex with people because you're not meeting people. Aquarius, which deals with the outside world, friendships, organizations, etc. If you're locked in your house all day long, right? Because you haven't taken this particular situation, or even if you had taken a situation, there's still the pandemic going around. There's still a communicable disease going around, right? Pluto in Aquarius, communicable diseases, versus Pluto in Scorpio, sexually transmitted diseases, right? So you have this communicable disease going around. So no matter what you do, shot or not, you are going to stay stuck in the house. That means you can't have sex with somebody. That's also Leo. Leo deals with reproduction too, children, creativity, etc. So you're not having sex and you're not having kids. So if you're not having sex and kids, the population declines. Now, I already knew the population was going to decline because Pluto is actually debilitated, in my opinion, in Aquarius because it's exalted in Leo. Pluto's greatest expression is in Leo, from my opinion. So during the Pluto and Leo era, we had the baby boomers who were the ones who had the civil rights movement. They changed culture radically, right? And they gave us a bunch of keys that we need to use to fight this battle, okay? So anyway, how would they bastardize Scorpio energy? They're going to change reproductive organs. They're going to tell you a man's a woman's a man. They're going to implant sexual organs into different bodies, see if we can grow it here. There's a bastardization, okay, of sexual organs, right? Using Aquarius technology. And then on top of that, if you're not having children as an act of love, children are being produced sort of like science experiments in a way. They're getting rid of the love component when it comes to sexual activity, when it comes to reproduction. So I'm not saying anything against any sexual orientation. There are reasons for everything. As a matter of fact, you can look at someone's sexual orientation based on their birth chart in some cases. So this is not a judgment of that. I'm just explaining how the people or the entities or principalities who have been running the world for thousands of years, how they're going to weaponize these things against us. So they're trying to reduce the population. Pluto and Leo was the baby boom. The opposite of that is a massive culling of the population because the entities told us not to have so many kids, and we did anyway. So they have to reduce the population to maintain control of the planet. What are they going to do? They're going to buy large areas of land, Taurus, to force a food shortage, Taurus, to create starvation, Taurus, and that will prevent people from having kids. Because if you're starving, you're not going to have kids, right? That's Leo. So in summary, we have a situation where we have successfully left the age of Pisces. But the entities already knew we were leaving this particular time period, and they prepared for this years in advance. They didn't wait because they know what time it is. They study astrology too. So when Pluto enters Aquarius next year, this is going to be kicked into high gear. The only thing stopping them from doing what they want to do now is this Jupiter-Neptune conjunction. That is kind of putting a kink in their plans at the moment. But when Pluto enters Aquarius next year, there's going to be more drama. That's it. So again, I'm not talking against anybody who has a specific, particular lifestyle. That's not what this is about. What I'm saying is that there are entities using this information or using your lifestyle against you. Right? Losing the destruction of the family unit against you. You're going to be isolated by yourself. No family, because you had no kids, right? No family, no friends, because Aquarius is friendship too. No family, no friends. You're by yourself in a virtual reality world in front of a computer, talking to other people online. You're not physically interacting with them. What happened in 2020? They told you to social distance. You are isolating yourself from your brother or your sister, right? They told you that other people are a biological weapon. They told you that other people will kill you. So psychologically now, we don't trust each other. When you don't trust each other, you don't love each other as much. When you don't love each other, the Leo aspect, you become a coward because now you're not even fighting for anything greater than yourself. You become more selfish if you're afraid of other people, if you can't love other people, if you can't connect with other people. You are going to be encouraged to not be around other people anymore. They're going to create situations and circumstances to facilitate the isolation of human beings. That's what they've tried to do for a long time now, and they've successfully done it with this mysterious virus that came out of nowhere, okay? That they had a solution for months after it was released to the public. Now, I don't want anybody to be afraid. Don't be afraid of, what's going to happen. It's going to happen anyway, especially if you're a millennial. You know what time it is. You were born during the Pluto and Scorpio era, which was basically the era of sexually transmitted diseases and the crack epidemic, one of the most dangerous time periods in American history, in the world actually too. So we are built for this. It's nothing to be afraid of. It is what it is. When it comes to Leo, I am going to apologize to the Pluto and Leo generation because I have been going hard against them for years, okay? I've been calling them selfish. I've been calling them immature. I've been calling them greedy, etc. Okay. The Pluto and Leo generation, they are the skeleton key. The Pluto and Leo generation is from 1938 to 1958. Then we had the Pluto and Virgo generation, 1958 to 1970, 1971, etc. So with Pluto and Leo, what did they contribute to society? Okay, this generation was the Vietnam vets. They were the Black Panther Party. They were the Black nationalist movement. They were, the founders of a lot of political movements that sort of shaped the face of liberation for American culture, right? On top of that, this generation created the most prolific body of music of any generation before and after, including the Jazz Age generation, which is Pluto in Cancer and Pluto in Gemini. Even more prolific than that generation, okay? So Pluto and Leo is the Isley Brothers, Earth, Wind, and Fire, the Ohio Players, Parliament Funkadelic, etc., 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 etc. There's a massive body of music from the 60s, 70s, and 80s that is being used for movies and commercials and games to this day, right? And recently, we find out that a lot of these publishing companies and corporations have been buying the artists' music from them. They've been buying old school catalogs of artists from the 70s and 60s and the 80s and 90s even. And I suspect that in future generations, this music is going to be taken off the shelf, and you can only have access to it if they put it in commercials or if they put it in, movies or whatever. I suspect that you will not be able to find some of this music in the future because the Pluto and Leo generation, they left us the key to open up this lock. What is the key? The key is the heart chakra. It is courage. It is love. Okay? If you have courage and love, you will be able to fight suppression and subjugation. You will have the courage to stand up for yourself and your brethren. You won't be a coward hiding in your house. Okay? Afraid of the government. No. You will do what the Pluto and Leo generation did. They fought the civil rights movement and they fought in Vietnam the same time. And then they came back and formed the Black Panther Party, right? And then they created an entire body of music that talked about love on top of that. So they were going through war, in their home country. They were going to war abroad, and they still had the capacity to talk about love in their music, to raise the vibration of the collective with their music, which also facilitated a baby boom. Unfortunately, the Pluto and Leo generation was attacked by the government the most. They were attacked by the war with drugs, not the war on drugs. The war on drugs was basically a war with drugs, okay? They used drugs to destroy these Black nationalist movements and other political parties that were not in alignment with the agenda of the New World Order, okay? Anyway, so this generation was attacked by the government the most, which is why we had such a precipitous decline in Black culture since then, because of the drugs and the crime that came in. And then the music goes to this, gangster rap music. So they turned everything into dark evilness. They warped it and flipped it around and inverted it. That's what they do. But not to get off topic too much, basically to recap this, the new crucifixion will consist of Aquarius, Leo, Taurus, and Scorpio energy, okay? So when you study these energies in astrology, you'll understand what I mean by that. When it comes to Aquarius, it's about technology and friendships and communication and society and the collective, etc. Where Scorpio is dealing with the blood, reproductive organs, inheritances, taxes, diseases, sexual activity, etc. Then you have Leo. Leo is the heart chakra, basically breaking a person's heart, taking away their hope, taking away their love. You can't love somebody if you're not with them. You're not physically in contact with anybody, right? On top of that, you're being told by these artists and entertainers like Cardi B to fuck love, get drunk, get high, jump on a plane, and just have sex, right? Breaking of the heart chakra. Then on top of that, if mommy is too tired to, give her child nurturing and love and positive energy, that child's going to grow up to be cold-hearted as well. Essentially, you're going to be discouraged from falling in love because love gives you the courage to fight for yourself and the people you love. If you don't have any kids, you're going to be like, well, okay, I'll just die and It won't matter anyway. But if you have kids to fight for, a lot of times you'll say, I want the world to be a better place for my children. That's not to say that you need to have kids to be brave. That's not what I'm saying. But throughout history, people usually fight for their children. They fight to protect their children. They fight to protect other people's children if they don't have any children. Children are an important part of our spiritual and emotional and psychological evolution, right? If we're being told to hate children or to fear children, right, or to see children as a burden, we're going to have a negative attitude towards them. And that's also going to close our heart chakra, okay? Then we have Taurus again. Purchasing of land and property and so on. You will own nothing and you will be happy. Subscription services. You're going to be a subscriber for everything in the future. Food services, house services, phone services, entertainment, whatever. You're going to have to keep paying your way and you're not going to own anything. That's the goal. If you don't own anything, you're always in service to somebody else. This is what happened when we had the sharecropper situation. When, slaves had to take out massive debts on the land to be able to work and take care of their family. They never really owned it per se because they were always in debt. If you're always in debt to a system, or if you're living in a subscription-based system where you have to pay for everything, right? You don't own it. You just have to keep paying monthly. Then you don't have anything to pass down to your kids because you're a permanent tenant, right? You don't have any wealth to pass down to your kids. No resources, nothing. You don't own nothing. So your kids are going to have to keep starting from ground zero, which keeps them in slavery. That's what the Black community has been going through for hundreds of years. And it was designed that way, to keep you at a base level, ground zero, so that you have to keep starting from scratch while they, take their advantages when it comes to education, take their advantages when it comes to income and resources, and they can keep running the world while telling you there's something wrong with you because you have nothing, but they designed the system to be this way. So anyway, I'm going to close it out there. If you have any questions or if you would like to order an astrology reading, you can go to mindoflilith.com. I look forward to reading your comments. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll speak to you soon.